With the RV being in the shape that it is, we've decided to make a day trip an hour south of Greenville to New Bern, North Carolina.
Yeah, we're actually meeting up with my family who is also making a day trip here. So we're gonna see what we can do, have some lunch and have some fun.
So geographically, on a map, it's technically part of the inner banks of North Carolina. It's also the second oldest city in all of North Carolina behind Bath, which is the home of Blackbeard.
So New Bern actually means new bear in Swedish. So they are known for showing off their bear town pride, and they have over 70 ceramic bears around the town of New Bern. They were actually put out as a celebration to celebrate its 300th anniversary, which is crazy. You can find over 20 of them in downtown alone. So we're gonna see what we can find. Bear City fudge and ice cream is supposed to be really good.
Look at that, we got service. This is the birthplace of Brad's drink. You know it as Pepsi. Sorry, Coke people, this is not about you.
The biggest knick-knacky fun store to go into in New Bern.
We're here at Tryon Palace.
It is edible, I just don't recommend it.
Next room is the largest room in the palace. This is the Royal Council Chamber.
I feel like I learned so much from Downton Abbey.
Typical military-style militia camp of that time period, roughly 1740.
Very cool.
The British general walked into he called it a bee's nest up in Virginia when he faced the North Carolina Regiment for the first time. He said, we have moved into a hornet's nest.
That's why they call them the Charlotte Hornets. What?
The kitchen, but it's strictly to feed the officers, unless they had to feed themselves. Oh, look at them. What they do is you'd have 4 or 5 guys in a tent, and those 4 or 5 guys would pull their resources together, build a fire literally right in front of their tent, cook their food, and go to bed.
Indented?
They were indented, where it made it real easy to bend it and break it apart.
Did you know that?
I had no idea. Learned something.
I had no idea.
That is very, very cool. Okay, so what kind of bread would this have been?
This is called ship's biscuit. It's basically, or in the Civil War, it was called hardtack. It's basically flour,
that's
water, and
hardtack.
salt.
Okay,
It is edible. I just don't recommend it.
Typically, again, not really our thing, the whole museum / tour deal. However, we are doing one today. We're here at Tryon Palace.
Now, if you are from or have been in North Carolina, the name Tryon might be familiar to you. It's definitely a town. It's probably a street in your area, if not a school. It's named after the governor who lived in this palace whenever New Bern was the capital of North Carolina.
And you may not have realized that New Bern was North Carolina's first permanent capital before it was Raleigh.
Now, it does cost a little bit of money to get it in here. I believe it was $10 a person for the full day pass. They also offer garden passes for, I think, maybe $6 a person.
And you're not just walking around a building. Like she said, you have the gardens. They've got period reenactors here, and we just learned a ton of stuff from one of the guys, so it was very cool.
We gotta go because we're gonna go find out more during our tour. Let's go.
Many people who came to the palace, this is as far as they got in the building. Their business would be taken care of by the butler and they would be ushered back out. All right, next room is the largest room in the palace. This is the Royal Council Chamber. After William Tryon left, we got our last royal governor, our 5th royal governor. His name was Josiah Martin. And he will remain here until 1775 when he gets wind of what's going on up north. This is where you're going to entertain them, and you might serve them tea. We do have a 1700s tea service here. Notice the teapot has an alcohol burner underneath to keep the water warm. You had to be about 14 years or older to sit at this table. If you're younger than that, you're going to be eating your meals upstairs. There might be as few as 4 people here. There could be as many as 30 or so.
I feel like I learned so much from Downton Abbey. I'm like an expert.
Literally, I feel like a Bridgerton.
Now these stairs are hand-carved mahogany. You're going to change in here 2, maybe 3 times a day, and you're also going to use this as your resting area because when business is going on downstairs, you're not really welcome down there. So this is your kind of your hangout room.
In some cases, they even had to share their bed with 1 or 2 other servants. So having your own bedchamber was really nice. And when you look in those rooms, you're going to be surprised at how large they are, particularly for a servant. They imported whiskey, gin, their favorite drink, rum from the West Indies. That's how they knew what was in each bottle, was merely by the shape and size of the bottle.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Belongs to you?
Yeah,
If you'd like to
I'll
leave-
settle it.
If you'd like to leave them with us, we can
Okay.
train them in all manner of kitchen skills. There are some recipes on the table over there that are copied from 18th century cooking books. We use those recipes, we use fire and embers, the same methods of cooking that they had in the 18th century. And we have a kitchen garden out in the back where we grow vegetables and fruits and herbs that we use to cook with. If it's baking day, you've got the oven lit on, and then you've got fires all the way across the hearth making embers for you.
Is that pretty? This might be the biggest artichoke I have ever seen.
On a plant?
Yeah.
more light.
We are at the Black Hat Shop, which is probably the biggest knick-knacky fun store to go into in New Bern. It's an endless kaleidoscope. Woo!
Are you a Coke or Pepsi person? Well, sorry, Coke people, this is not about you.
Here in North Carolina, we drink Pepsi whether we like it or not.
We're right here in downtown New Bern at Bradham's Pharmacy. This is the birthplace of Brad's drink. You know it as Pepsi.
Now, as you may or may not know, back in the day, sodas were actually considered helpful, if not medicine. In fact, you know, sometimes they actually contain cocaine, so that was fun. But the pharmacist here came up with his special drink that he thought was good for settling stomachs and marketed it as Pepsi.
He created Pepsi in 1898, but unfortunately, Caleb Bradham made some poor business decisions in the 1930s, went bankrupt, had to sell the Pepsi brand, and fortunately for the rest of the world, the Minks family made it what it is today.
Unfortunately for Caleb, this was actually during kind of the heyday of Pepsi, and he might have missed out on a little bit of all of that, but he did come back here to the pharmacy for at least, I think, 10 more years to work. We're here, so might as well get a Pepsi from the source. I'm a little full right now for dessert, but I do hear that Bear City fudge and ice cream is supposed to be really good.
Downtown New Bern is littered with tons of cool stores like this one, Surf, Wind, and Fire. It's got pretty much all the camping gear you could possibly ever need, and a bar.
At the Surf and Pig, you can grab a beer and walk around while you shop. My kind of store.
Look at that, we got service.
It works. And it's even got a cute little street patio. Since we've actually been on just a day trip and haven't brought our RV along, at least for a night. So I think that we did a pretty good job of this. We saw quite a few bears, which was on my list,
Yes.
and had a lot of fun. So I think it's definitely worth a visit.
Not so much Victoria's thing, definitely my thing on the history, but love Tryon Palace and the reenactors who were explaining all of the malicious stuff that they used. Did you know that a shilling was a piece of a coin?
Yeah, so you hear of a piece of 8, and it's literally a coin that is almost perforated, so you can break it into 8 pieces, and one of those is a shilling. Like, who knew? Literal pieces of 8.
Blew my mind.
I learned something.
And as promised, slowly but surely, we are knocking out the North Carolina coast. But next week, we have no idea where we'll be or with what vehicle. So I guess we'll catch you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.